We can provide credible firearms cover for London, but I must be honest, it's still significantly less than normal.
The Commissioner of the Met Police having to explain why there are fewer armed officers available on the streets of London after some refused to carry firearms when a fellow officer was charged with murder.
Officers are extremely anxious, and I think it's important to put this in context. A lot of this is driven by families. Many of them are under pressure from their partners, sort of wives, husbands, parents, children, who actually are saying, I'm worried about what you might go through based on your job. I'm not sure we're up for this as a family, given the severity of it and the longevity that it might go.
Yesterday, the Met Police said they no longer needed the Army to be on standby as enough officers had returned to armed duty. But now Sky News has heard from more firearms officers who say they may be prepared for the first time to hand in their weapons if the officer charged with killing Chris Kaba loses his anonymity at a hearing next week.
One officer told us the anonymity hearing will determine what happens. If he loses his anonymity, then serious questions will be asked. I haven't handed my firearm in yet, but I would if that happens. And there are many others that would do the same. Defendants don't normally get anonymity, but judges can grant it in exceptional circumstances.
Certain orders in place for people like this officer, a counter-terrorism specialist firearms officer whose daily work involves being covert. He may be involved in all sorts of terrorist operations. To identify him in the public realm is not just dangerous to him, potentially his family and other people, but it also, it gives the impression that to other officers that this sort of thing will happen.
Meanwhile, there's growing discontent from some people about the Commissioner's calls for greater legal protections for armed officers.
There is no trust and faith in the community in places like this. There is no faith, there is no confidence, and it's clear. Everybody can see they do not wish to be held to account, especially by the black community.
If the Commissioner wanted to reassure Londoners that things were getting back to normal, it's clear that many armed officers are in fact still deeply unhappy, with the threat of further protests looming large. Rachel Venables, Sky News, New Scotland Yard.